This is not a forecast anymore. This is a nowcast. The storms are developing right now, and the next 6 hours are going to determine whether this afternoon becomes one of the most significant tornado outbreak events in the Midwest in years, or whether the storm mode shifts and limits the worst of the threat. Let me explain why those 6 hours matter so much, and why the question of storm mode is the single most important variable in today's forecast. The atmosphere across Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois right now has significant tornado parameter values of 8 to 9. To put that in context, STP values above 4 are considered extreme. Most of the deadliest tornado outbreaks in American history have occurred in environments ranging from 4 to 8. Today's environment in the upper Midwest is operating near the top end of that scale. The atmospheric spin, the low-level rotation that tilts into thunderstorm updrafts and produces tornadoes, is as primed as it has been at this latitude in years. But here is the critical variable. All of that atmospheric energy only translates into a major tornado outbreak if the storms stay discrete. If individual supercells hold together as distinct rotating units, rather than merging into a large line, then the full instability and wind shear of this environment is available to each individual storm. And in this kind of environment, discrete supercells produce violent, long-track tornadoes. EF3, EF4. Tornadoes that stay on the ground for 30, 40 miles. If the storms merge too early, if the line consolidates before the afternoon peak, the tornado threat drops significantly. The energy gets distributed across a broad squall line, and the wind threat becomes dominant, while the tornado risk falls. Watch the storm mode this afternoon. If you're seeing warnings for individual rotating supercells rather than squall line warnings, the high-end scenario is in play. Here is the hour-by-hour picture of how today is unfolding. Noon. Storms are already initiating near Minneapolis with large hail, moving into the Eau Claire, Wisconsin area. This is the opening act. The atmosphere is responding faster than some guidance suggested. 1 to 2 p.m. Rapid storm development across central and western Wisconsin and into northeastern Iowa. The tornado and large hail threat is already active in this corridor. If you are in Wausau or surrounding communities in central Wisconsin right now, this is your window to be inside and in shelter. 3 to 4 p.m. This is the peak window. The extreme wind shear across the upper Midwest fuels the most organized and dangerous supercell development of the day. If any storm maintains its discrete character through this window, holding together without merging into the line, it has access to one of the most tornado-favorable atmospheric environments recorded this season at these latitudes. EF3 and higher tornadoes are possible. Tornadoes with significant damage tracks. Long-lasting, well-organized, violent storms. North of Springfield, Missouri simultaneously, high precipitation supercells developing along the cold front. These storms carry a hidden tornado threat. High precipitation supercells are particularly dangerous because the heavy rain wrapping around them obscures the funnel. The tornado is inside a rainfall curtain. You may have no visual warning whatsoever before it arrives. 5 to 6 p.m. The severe threat expands south through Kansas City. Supercells organize north of Oklahoma City, an EF2 and higher tornado risk active in this zone. The atmosphere in south-central Kansas and northern Oklahoma is also carrying extreme instability values. If discrete supercells hold in this zone, baseball-sized hail and significant tornadoes are both very much on the table. By 7 to 8 p.m., the individual supercells begin consolidating, the line forms, and as the squall line takes shape, the storm mode transition shifts the primary threat from tornadoes to widespread damaging winds, 60 to 85 miles per hour. The Springfield, Illinois area and the corridor just west of Chicago are inside a 45% probability zone for those wind speeds. That is not a fringe probability, that is nearly a coin flip. And those are the kinds of odds that mean widespread structural damage when the event occurs. I want to make sure this wind threat is fully understood. 60 to 85 mile per hour winds across a populated urban corridor in the evening hours produces a very specific and very dangerous combination of hazards. Trees are at their maximum leafed out weight this time of year, which means they catch more wind and fall more easily onto roads, power lines, and structures. Power outages will be widespread and extended. Some areas around Chicago and the northern Illinois suburbs may be without power for days, depending on the scale of the damage. Driving during active squall line passage is one of the most dangerous things a person can do during this type of event. The leading edge of a squall line arrives with an almost instantaneous wind shift. You can be driving in calm conditions and within 30 seconds find yourself in near zero visibility with debris on the road and wind pushing the vehicle sideways. If the squall line is approaching your area this evening, be parked somewhere solid before it arrives, not during, before. If you have outdoor items, trampolines, patio furniture, anything loose, bring them inside before the line arrives. Not because it is inconvenient to retrieve them afterward, because 65-mile-per-hour wind turns loose outdoor objects into projectiles that damage property and injure people. By 8 to 9 p.m., the line pushes the massive, damaging wind threat into Springfield, Illinois. Just west of Chicago begins feeling the leading edge. Overnight, the line tracks southeast toward Dallas-Fort Worth and Little Rock, gradually weakening. The tornado risk within the line drops significantly as it moves south and loses organizational integrity. The damaging wind threat remains the primary concern through the overnight hours in the corridor from southern Illinois through Arkansas. Tomorrow, the threat zone shifts east. The recovering atmosphere across the Ohio Valley can trigger scattered severe thunderstorms from Cleveland and Columbus through Pittsburgh and into Buffalo and western New York. 60 to 70 mile-per-hour damaging winds, quarter to half-dollar-sized hail, and a brief isolated tornado are possible as the system exits. This is a lower-end event compared to today, but the Ohio Valley and western Pennsylvania should have alerts active tomorrow afternoon. Beyond tomorrow, Sunday offers genuine relief. Quiet weather settles in for a brief stretch across most of the country. The atmosphere takes a measured break from the continuous severe weather activity that has characterized this week. Let me say something directly about the high-end tornado scenario and the uncertainty around storm mode. The honest answer, in a forecast as meteorologically charged as today, is that the exact storm mode outcome is not fully resolved even at this hour. Models have been inconsistent on exactly when the line consolidates. Some guidance shows discrete supercells persisting through the afternoon hours in Wisconsin and Iowa. Other guidance shows consolidation beginning earlier, reducing the tornado ceiling. What I can tell you with high confidence is this. If you are in Wausau, Eau Claire, Green Bay, or any of the communities across central and western Wisconsin right now, you are inside a threat zone where, if the high-end scenario verifies, you will have very little time to act after a tornado warning sounds. The storms in this kind of environment can go from initiation to producing a violent tornado in a matter of minutes. Have your shelter location identified now. An interior basement room if you have one, an interior lower floor bathroom or hallway if not. Be ready to move immediately when a warning sounds for your county. Do not take the uncertainty about storm mode as a reason to be unprepared. The floor scenario for today, a squall line with 60+ mile-per-hour winds, is still a damaging severe weather event. And the ceiling scenario, a tornado outbreak with EF3 and higher tornadoes, is one of the more dangerous single-day events possible in this country. Anywhere between those two outcomes, you need to be prepared. Here is your clean timeline. Right now through 2 p.m., Minneapolis, Eau Claire, Wausau, central Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa. Storms actively developing. Large hail. Tornado threat increasing rapidly. Be inside and in shelter if you're in these areas. 3 to 4 p.m., Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Illinois. Peak tornado window. Discrete supercell threat highest during this period. EF3 and higher possible if storm mode holds. Watch for individual supercell tornado warnings. This is the signal the high-end scenario is active. 3 to 6 p.m. North of Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri. Severe supercells with EF2 plus tornado risk and baseball-sized hail. High precipitation supercells north of Springfield carry hidden tornado threat. 7 to 9 p.m. Springfield, Illinois, western Chicago suburbs. Squall line arrives. 45% chance of 60 to 85 miles per hour damaging winds. Widespread power outages expected. All outdoor items should be secured before this arrives. Overnight, southern Illinois through Arkansas, toward Dallas-Fort Worth and Little Rock. Weakening line continues southeast. Wind damage threat diminishes, but does not fully end until the early morning hours. Tomorrow, Ohio Valley, Cleveland through Pittsburgh, into Buffalo and western New York. Recovered atmosphere triggers scattered severe storms. 60 to 70 miles per hour winds, quarter to $half hail, brief isolated tornadoes. Have alerts active through tomorrow afternoon. Sunday, quiet, genuine break. Use it to recover. Stay connected to updates throughout the day. This forecast changes by the hour. We will see you in the next update.